Welcome to the Hair of the Dog podcast. This is Nicole, and this is a special podcast episode brought to you directly out of the Hair of the Dog Academy. Inside the Academy, our members have the opportunity to schedule laser coaching calls. And not only are these calls beneficial for them, but they get shared inside the community so that all of our other members can benefit from them. What we've done is we've taken the very best of our laser coaching calls, the ones that I know you guys have questions for as well, and we are bringing them to you here as some bonus episodes on the Hair of the Dog podcast. Now, I'm not promising them every week, but periodically we'll be releasing new laser coaching calls out here on the podcast on Thursdays. So keep checking your podcast player and get ready for 15 to 20 minutes of quick laser coaching to get some quick wins, get some questions answered, and helping our members and you move forward in your business. If you want to learn more about how you can become a Hair of the Dog Academy member too, simply go to hairofthedogacademy.com/academy and check it out. We'd love to have you inside our pack. Now stay tuned for the laser coaching. And when I say laser coaching, is it just me or do you picture little cats with laser beams too? That would make this even more fun, but I digress. No cats with laser beams, but some incredible business knowledge about to happen. Enjoy.
Welcome to the Hair of the Dog podcast. If you're a pet photographer ready to make more money and start living a life by your design, you've come to the right place. And now, your host, pet photographer, travel addict, chocolate martini connoisseur, Nicole Begley.
Hey everybody, Nicole here, and I am here with Angela, and we're here for laser coaching. So Angela, welcome. Tell us how I can help you.
Hi. Well, it came up. I don't know. I've been flooded with end of life sessions lately. Yeah. And it came up that should we market these things?
Yep.
And if so, how? And I'm not meaning like to take out an ad that says, is your dog dying?
Right. Yeah, definitely need a little tact, but yes.
A little, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and just how to approach it with a level of compassion and tact, but still to let people know that this is a thing.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the first thing you need to do is figure out what messaging you want to be, which I would definitely do from the positive side of celebrate your dog. You know, I think it's okay to state the obvious and that, you know, unfortunately dogs aren't with us too long. Highly recommend getting a session done while your dog is still young and healthy and, you know, all the ways that you know them now. But if, you know, you're further past that point and you haven't had pictures, like now's we can still have this for your end of life sessions. How are they set up? Are they just a normal session fee and normal products? Do you have like a special all-inclusive thing?
Yeah. So I have 2 different regular sessions and 2 other special sessions that I don't promote year round, but so the regular sessions are my adventure days.
Yep.
And that's obviously for younger dogs.
Yep.
And then the memory session, which is anywhere between an hour to 90 minutes, is more for like the puppy or the new to you dog or the senior dog and the terminal dog that can't do, great big walks.
Right.
And a little more entertainment kind of thing. So I don't necessarily I have all over my website that I will drop everything to do a dog that has been given its date,
Right.
But I don't have a session necessarily dedicated to that.
Gotcha. What's your intention of marketing it? Like how many do you want? Like, is it the best? I guess the question is it the best type of session to market, or like what's your motivation for marketing that versus others? Because we only have so much marketing time. So it's just figuring out if it's the right thing to definitely marketing, or if it wants to be a service that you could definitely market and get in touch with, like, some, I didn't realize this was a thing, like a hospice vet. I know we have a friend that's in Colorado that he does in-home euthanasia, but I guess there's also some like hospice vets that will help, with the care once they start to get more towards end of life, but that might even be a couple months long. So there would be plenty of time for people to get a session done in some of those cases. So there's definitely like low hanging marketing fruit that way. You know, in my experience, and this isn't everyone's experience, it's just my experience, my tribute sessions, which were my end of life sessions, were definitely a lower price point, not as much a moneymaker, but it was a nice service, a feel good service, like, you know, that I felt good about providing. So, and it depends what is most critical to you at the time, you know, just figuring out where you want to spend your time marketing different things. Does that all make sense?
Right. Yeah. You're using that as a past tense. Do you not do tribute sessions anymore, or?
No, I still do. I don't really market them at all. My schedule now with the kids, and especially homeschooling, virtual school, whatever, everything else, like the last minute dropping schedule is become more challenging for me. So if somebody contacted me, I would do it, but I don't think I have much mention of it anywhere.
Right. Hashtag child free.
Yeah, exactly. Hashtag dreams.
Hashtag you'll get there.
Hashtag college, 8 years.
So there, you know, I love the idea of connecting with a hospice vet, and I have just learned of a place around here that I could connect with. But like, would you take the route of direct marketing, like taking ads out, or would you go with more of a passive thing, like blogging about it and, you know, writing a blog about this hospice vet? Because, you know, that's where one of my strengths are, is the blogging, and making that connection and doing third party that way. Or would you actually like at the stage of my business, would you actually take out ads? Like, because I belong to a lot of different community groups on Facebook. And whenever I see someone pop up like, oh, you know, is there like anybody who'll do pictures of my dog, he's dying? I always comment. But at the same time, you're also in competition with all of those other people with cameras who are just like, oh, I'll do it, and I'll give you all the digitals for $50.
Yeah. Right.
You know, and you get lost because the price point is higher.
Right. So what type of ads are you thinking of? Because generally, like a magazine ad, it's not money well spent, in my opinion, you know? So like what type of ads? I was thinking
more just like Facebook ads and Instagram ads, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you can. I just don't know how you would target someone with older dogs on that, unless, gosh, you wouldn't be able to do their pixel. But if there was, you could target maybe people, if those other businesses like a hospice vet had Facebook page or a group or something, like, well, you can't target groups, but like of Facebook's general demographics and targeting, there's no way to take out, like to target to the people that have older animals. You know, you can target to pet animals or pet owners in general. You know, if you were going to go that route, I would maybe just advertise your smaller sessions and just say, hey, these are perfect for new puppy, new to you dog, or if you know, or an older dog, or if you just want, you know, to create one great art piece or something, you know. So then you're marketing that general session, but then people can say, oh, I fit in here, there, or there.
Right. Because I mean, it's not, you know, I just did one with a Bernese mountain dog, and she has DM. Yeah. And so she's not really mobile, and you can't do a whole lot of, you know, me and the owner, we cried. Right. Time. And it's just, you know, she comes to the reveal session and she's like, I really want a book. And I'm like, oh God, but we cut it off at 45 minutes because Maggie was so out of it, and we don't have enough for even like a 10-page book. Yeah. You know, like I ended up with 17 images, and a lot of them were really repetitive. And I was like, we just don't have enough for a book. So like I talked her through she has she's a rescue whore.
Yeah.
She has 7 dogs. They've all been rescued.
Yeah.
And so like I pitched to her another session with all of the dogs at their property in Idaho. And then I would be happy to include the gallery from Maggie's session into, the gallery from that session, so we could put together a big book. And that seemed to be okay. But, if I run into somebody similar who, where the time ends up being limited because the dog is not very mobile.
Yeah.
You can't pitch the album.
Well, so you could do a 10 spread album with 10 images.
Yeah.
You could also do an image box with 5 images. They could put leashes and stuff in, or a bamboo box with 5 or 10 images, something like that. So I think you can try to find some of those things. Cause I think the challenge with the older dog sessions is their dog's not how they remember them. They still want the images, but they're not necessarily going to put a giant image of their unfortunately dying dog on their wall. That's right. That's not what they do with it. That usually the albums or those image boxes tend to be the more product of choice in that situation. So that's a great workaround to, hey, let's do another session with all your dogs with this product in mind. But yeah, I think those are some of the other things you could do. And then as far as marketing, I just want to jump back for a second too. I would 100% market these sessions to those third party, like a hospice vet, any sort of, the challenging part for, you look at like dog memorial, like pet memorial type things. People aren't necessarily going there until it's already too late, which is the hard part there. So you need to figure out where it is that they go before, which might be the hospice vet, might be specialty vets. If you have cardiology, oncology, neurology type vets in your area at all. Yeah. And one of the difficulties I've found around here is that a lot of the vets, a lot of the pet specific businesses like vets or food boutiques, they don't have the time or the interest or the interest in working with someone like me. Yeah. They're very, no, we got it. We're good. We don't, Right. Yeah. I wonder if you can, some of them will never come around, but others like just approach them of, hey, how can I help you? And then it becomes or even if you blog about them, then it's like, oh, do reciprocal. I want to help you. In which case you can like pitch doing little contests or, different stuff that is fun for their clients. Oh, it's a funny story. I'm writing a monthly column about hiking for our newspaper. Yeah. And so for the last one, I interviewed my vet, who, she's new to the clinic. So we've been seeing her for about a year, but I've been going to this clinic for 10 years. Yeah. And when it got published, they posted the link on their Facebook page and said, oh, hey, look at Dr. Shulkin's article. Wait, what? No. Mine. So I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to go look for another vet then. Yeah. And it could just be whoever posted that just really was completely clueless about it. But yeah, but anyway, that's just a funny side story. Yeah. Knits into my brain and stays there. I know. But yeah. I hear you. That happens to all of us. Yeah. But anyhow, so I like all of this stuff. Yeah. And actually one of my clients referred me to a place that does water cremation and says, oh, you should look these people up and see if you can work with them. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. You never know. You could do a cross promotion, like a blog post on your article or on your website. Maybe they want to post on there, like they might still have some education and you might get a couple people that are looking for that in time, but you would also get even if, client A, it's too late for them to take advantage with their current dog. Maybe it is something that then they're like, oh, but I'm definitely going to do this with my next dog. And, that's a long game play.
Yeah.
But they would probably want to take it with their next dog when their dog's young and healthy, so it just depends how long they would take to be ready for another dog. One other thing you could look at too is I just did a podcast interview with Mandy Pratt from Gray Boy Print. She does etchings, and it's coming out a couple weeks. I think the first week of September, the 8th maybe. But she has those, which is something that you could even offer. It's like on a wholesale basis for people that, the people that go to the cremation things, whatever, that it's too late, but that she can actually create something beautiful from a picture they have.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's something that you could still maybe offer to people. And, if they have other dogs, I thought about this as I was talking to her. I'm like, ooh, this could be interesting that you're like, okay, like you have a session, you can create these with your images for the dogs that are part of the session. And if they had other pets, they can have their pictures created as well to create like a little wall gallery or, one with multiple pets in it.
Just like edit their cell shot to.
Well, you don't even, she does it because she will take the cell shots and like she puts it in Photoshop through some ways to create these. I'm not even exactly sure how she does it to create these like metal engraving etchings or whatever.
Okay.
So yeah. So that's something that you can offer even for pets that are no longer here, that's still in line with what we do, which is beautiful artwork.
Yeah. Well, I did a session last year for a gal who had 5 beagles.
Yeah.
And she wanted to include the urns of her 2 other beagles.
Yeah.
So we set them up nicely on rocks with some of the dead dog's toys. And I was like, oh, this reminds me of Irish Catholic funerals where we take pictures of dead bodies in caskets.
Right. Yeah.
So it was kind of weird, but at the same time, it was a nice little way to honor those other 2 dogs by, and she did get an album done. Yeah. And it was just a nice way to honor the other 2 dogs and include them in the whole thing.
Right.
In the moment, it was like, you want to do what?
I know. We're like, okay.
Hey, you're the client. You're the one with the money. Let's do it.
Yeah, sure. We can definitely do that. Perfect. Yeah, no, definitely check that out. And yeah, I think 100% it's worth advertising. But if you're going to be doing ads, then maybe just advertise all of those sessions since you can't target new puppies who has whatever. So.
Yeah. Uncontrollable little bastards.
Love it. Awesome. Thanks.
Okay, awesome, Nicole. Thank you. Have a good one.
You're so welcome. You too. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Hair of the Dog podcast. If you want to check out the show notes for access to any of the links that we shared in this episode, as well as any additional resources, simply go to www.hairofthedogacademy.com/72, since this was episode number 72.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Hair of the Dog podcast. If you enjoyed this show, please take a minute to leave a review. And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our upcoming episodes. One last thing, if you are ready to dive into more resources, head over to our website at www.hairofthedogacademy.com. Thanks for being a part of this pet photography community.